I'm one of the lucky ones when you add up all of my circumstances. Just like everyone else, I'm anxiously awaiting the end of the pandemic, and I know that it's been affecting everyone uniquely, so I want to preface this by acknowledging that, and by understanding that my own personal reflections of the past only tell the one story. And while this episode does contain some of the media critique elements that have been a staple of this series so far, that's not the purpose of this episode. I'm not here to tell you about why The Big Comfy Couch is a great show, or a terrible show, or a nuanced thing with deep hidden meaning. This is about friendship, obstacles, and why The Big Comfy Couch is the most important show that I've watched this year. My first exposure to The Big Comfy Couch was when I was a child watching it with my sisters. The show began in 1992 and ran for a decade on public television spanning 6 seasons. The show's final 7th season aired in 2006. As an adult, I couldn't really remember much about it, and that bummed me out. I did a bit of cursory research on the show in February, and instead of sating my appetite for nostalgia and calling it a day, I decided to make this, the episode you're watching. I had no idea what I wanted to say about the show, I just knew I wanted to watch the whole thing. And so I called up my friend Justine. Justine Ferko is an author, and her first published work is King of Fools, a gay romance set in 18th century France. And I'd like to say with all the confidence of someone who generally doesn't enjoy reading at all, it's very good, and it's available digitally for just a few dollars. She's also the co-host of the Cozy Co-op podcast with her fiancé Brandon. I've been friends with Brandon since high school, and you may recognize him from various cameos he's made on this channel. I met Justine before she and Brandon were an item, but we only started to really grow as friends within the last few years when she and Brandon started living together not far from me. I let Justine know that I wanted to watch The Big Comfy Couch with her because I valued her insight as someone with a knack for storytelling, and that we would be recording our thoughts after each episode for the purpose of Ellie-mentary. I told her I wanted us to commit to watching the whole thing, about 100 entire episodes, even if it became tedious or slow, and she was completely on board. We met Granny Garbanzo.
Okay, she's my new favorite.
She's great.
I enjoy Granny Garbanzo.
Also, just like only the tiniest bit weird that they have a storybook that features their neighbor as a character in the book.
I have a theory Lunette writes those storybooks.
Just what I need, something to make me even hotter.
Solid line.
It's the 2 fanny packs.
It's the 2 fanny packs.
He was a chatty duck. I was very into Rover.
Oh, we stand.
We stand.
Granny Garbanzo missing the faces of her family.
She missed them so much because they're so far away in the old country.
I know. Like, I don't even know them. We just were introduced to them and I already missed them.
I know. They look like they're so much fun. I love her so much.
How do you feel so far about our commitment to watch the whole show?
I mean, I'm still here.
Because this is the end of our second viewing session and we're not quite a tenth of the way.
I'm still enjoying it.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a good time.
Thank you for calling Clown Repo. This is Chase. How can I help you?
Hi, yes, this is Ellie. I'm calling about my couch.
What seems to be the trouble?
It's gone. I came home and it wasn't there anymore. I'm wondering if maybe it was repossessed?
Can you describe the couch for me?
Yeah, it's big, it's comfy.
Got it. We'll give you a call back.
But after we finished watching the first season in person, hello from 2 different apartments because coronavirus and we're being responsible.
This is gonna age well.
This is gonna age super well. We found ourselves in the midst of a pandemic and suddenly had to rethink our viewing strategy. We decided to meet via Discord and watch fewer episodes each session. What started as a 2-month plan became a 3-month plan. Then 4. Then 5. And it would still be a couple months after that I would finish wrapping up this episode. But we weren't going to let the setback stop us from having fun.
Molly straight up tried to murder this doll like 3 times.
At least twice, yeah. Major Bedhead made Lunette's money disappear, and not by spending it on booze, as I had assumed he would.
I'm reminded of Granny's adorable pet name for Lunette. This is Lunetka.
We had a weirdly hot dance from Granny Garbanzo in a flamenco dress.
Granny Garbanzo can flaunt that flamenco dress.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, like, when she showed up, like, I got some sort of, like, emotional high from that. I love that Lunette just straight up used the phrase, no is a power word.
I don't want that. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't have an answer for that.
No, I don't want that. I love that Lunette was like, what's a word that rhymes with soup? And you hear the sound that happens when Molly says something.
Of the thought bubble.
Uh-huh. But
They didn't pan over.
We watched season 3, episode 3. It's about interrupting. Don't do it. It's bad. Fuck you if you interrupt. And we got to see the Dust Bunnies interact with Molly and Lunette.
Yes. They were legit in front of Lunette's face, and she still was like, they don't exist.
Right. It was so funny, and I loved the like tiny version of the puppets that were just like on little sticks.
Molly was once again victimized by Lunette.
Always.
And Molly was like,
she was furious.
I saw murder in those eyes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was extremely good.
How do you?
It's a doll. Funny little doll.
Oh my god! Blue
Why?
Oh,
It's cute though. This is for you.
Aw.
Your very own doll. Her
I
name is
love
Blue Matt.
it.
Do you like her? She belongs to you.
Lunette's being especially
And now
cute
you
right
can
now.
I live for these episodes where you just like have everyone together and you see like all of the different characters interacting with each other.
Played games while they stayed up all night long waiting for the sunrise, and they sang the most beautiful song yet to be featured on the show.
Yeah, it was so good. We just watched season 5, episode 4. It was all about forgetting shit, I think.
Being I did like that throughout the episode, as they're doing the don't hit people, they were frequently putting in things it's okay to hit.
Major Bedhead had this giant drum. I think it's
Granny
interesting.
was beating the rug.
Right, yeah. And we have a new character. We have Uncle Chester.
Yeah, Uncle Chester just kind of appears, and no one like explains his appearance.
No.
They don't even explain who he is. They just say Uncle Chester. It's like, okay, he's here now.
There he is.
Oh, very nice booty, Snickle Fritz.
Nice booty, Snickle Fritz.
Yeah, Fickle
Fritz.
Good no. I mean, after we just talked about how there are no fucking good songs in this show, Uncle Chester had a good one.
He's got pipes.
That's some good shit.
Mm-hmm.
That is a cool rat.
You can smell the smoke.
Like this.
Damn.
She ate the donuts!
They're all gone.
Oh my fuck, she ate the donuts!
She ate the couch donuts.
Oh shit.
Molly, you didn't. Well, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Obviously.
But now she has no bounce, no energy.
Bro, that's pretty cringe, not gonna lie, bro. And you know, like one of the last things Lynette says is like, go make mirth on Earth, you're a real clown. I'm a real clown. Lunette said I was a real clown, said we were real clowns. We've earned it.
We did. Well, I imagine after watching 100 episodes of The Big Comfy Couch, we gotta be real clowns.
You know
at
what
this
that
point.
means. You know what that means now that we're real clowns.
What?
This is the greatest day! We had fun even when the show threw off our expectations. Lunette was like trying the snorkel on and like puts it in her mouth.
Shoved it all up in her mouth.
And Major Bedhead's like, you look great.
Oh yeah, I bet she does, huh, buddy?
There were ping pong balls absolutely everywhere.
Everywhere. People were dying.
She just dumped him out, and they played it in reverse, and we're like, okay, she cleaned up the ping pong balls.
We saw the triumphant return of Roberto the Ragdoll.
Oh, did not miss him.
Roberto showed up again.
I mean, he had to. It was an episode about dancing. I don't know what I was expecting.
Just some shots he's a ragdoll, some shots he's a person in a suit, and it's like...
Mama no like. Molly got a nude scene in this one.
You know, we met Wobbly.
Wobbly! Oh god, no, the scene with Wobbly and Granny. It was really cute, but holy shit, the heat level was like way up.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not talking about soup here, I gotta say.
Lunette and Molly learned about feeling good about their own bodies, which included a very disturbing song about Molly's belly button.
So you know where it's at. It's on your belly. It's a button. How about that?
Are you gonna be okay, Justine?
The belly button song is going to haunt me forever.
I don't understand why shows feel the need to have belly button songs. Season 3, episode 4 was about why.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, I don't think we ever got the answer. The only moral was don't have your hands in your pockets because if you fall, you'll fuck yourself up.
I like that they repeated that specifically because I've never heard that before. It was a very normal episode except for just all that fucking mud.
Far too much mud.
Justine, you were having a breakdown during the mud
I
scene.
was not okay. That was the wettest fucking mud I've ever seen in my life. So I had to not look at it for a minute and just kind of like minimize Discord. I was like, I'm not watching this shit.
We were given both a little bit uncomfortable propaganda where Granny just faces the camera and goes, "Obey the law!"
Right.
a couple of times.
It's the law.
It's the law. It's the law to keep your
It's
secrets.
the law.
Molly sort of wetting the bed and Lunette just being like, don't worry about it, it's no big deal, it was an accident, and like singing a whole song which was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, I love the time she just chooses to highlight embarrassment by singing a song about it.
Hey!
What?
They have the segment now, Doll School. I'm really hoping they like shake it up a little bit because we had 2 alphabet songs already and this one was just Molly counting to 10 and there was no like fun gimmick about it. It was just she did it and then they were like, great, you did it, Molly. And that's the segment.
It's not a very good school.
Yeah, it's the same routine, but it's at a weird angle. It's very spooky.
Fucking lighting.
Lunette is like, wow, I really love playing with my doll. And then Molly remembers, I also have a doll. And then Lunette's like, fuck you for playing with your doll. Oh, Jesus Christ.
But
I'm not a fan.
sure is sticky stuff.
No. Oh, why?
Wipe up
Why?
your bit.
What the fuck? This
There's a
episode,
lot.
it went so hard on Lunette being able to pat her head and rub her tummy at the same time. That's the whole fucking episode. That was
the only thing happening. Nobody else had anything going on.
I what the fuck? What the
Scrape on your knee, gets a bandage.
Snickle Fritz, they've got the puppet like attached to one of the pieces of clothing blowing in the wind, which just looks really like silly.
It's fucking hilarious.
And Granny turns around and just screams, why?
Why? Why? Like angry.
And then immediately says,
Snickle pussy!
Snickle Pussy.
Snickle Pussy. It's always been Snickle Puss, but they went full on.
Wow.
That was 2 episodes in a row. She
Yeah.
received a magnifying glass.
I don't understand.
Ooh.
And nothing happened during Clowndergarten.
Oh, I totally even forgot we went to Clowndergarten.
Exactly! Exactly, it's so pointless. We just watched season 7, episode 21, and fuck this episode, Lunette. We even walked away with some fun clown lore. So we watched episode 1, Pie in the Sky.
So my theory is there's not a moral to this story. This is lore.
This is lore.
This is outlining the balloon god.
What's that clown lore?
We gotta have the lore.
I gotta know more about the clown society.
The continuity.
We demand consistent
I
lore.
need lore.
It's strange that like we get so hype over little details. Eileen is Miss Foley's first name, which was like a detail that like we didn't really like need, but when they said it, we're like, oh shit, there's more lore.
He started out as minor bedhead, and now he is major bedhead.
He has to have fought in some kind of war.
He's hardened.
Okay.
In the last episode, they talked about Amelia Earhart, so we were like, oh, so it's like the real world, but everything's a clown.
But everything is clowns.
Except for children?
No, except anyone in the storybooks. But everyone else is clowns.
Oh, well, like, obviously.
Yeah,
Because they're fictional characters.
they're fictional characters, so they're
Because
not clowns.
people aren't real. So it makes sense that they would just, like, in their fiction.
You would have to dress up to look like a people.
I look just like a people. They introduced this doll, but she's not alive like Molly is. It's because she's not a clown.
Oh my god, she wasn't a clown.
I'm willing to bet that, like, that's what gives things sentience in this world is the nose.
They made an arbitrary differentiation between clown school and real school, and then proceeded to talk like they were going to clown school.
Right.
And I was like, well then what's the real school? Wait a minute.
Major Bedhead went to, like, specialty, like, career clown school. And seemed to only learn things that would be helpful for him as a courier.
They raised him to be a courier. That's why he was minor bedhead.
Like, if he was doing a job that didn't require him to learn how to read, would he have been taught how to read? The implication is no.
No.
The Big Comfy Couch wiki. Auntie Macassar is Lunette's traveling aunt. She appeared from seasons 1 to 792.
Whoa!
She was portrayed by Tabora Johnson. Unfortunately, Auntie met her end in the Great Clown Wars of seasons 751 through 756. She fell defending Major Bedhead from a swarm of vicious flatheads.
Someone has been looking at my lore document.
And there's a bunny beach. That's the thing.
And there's a bunny beach. We got some clown lore, and
There's-
this is bunny beach.
There is no way he would have just made that comment if there weren't a bunny beach thing.
Yeah, he said, "Is this the bunny beach?"
There were the handy boys.
Yes, Snickle Fritz and Major Bedhead are Granny's handy boys. It is confirmed. That was a piece of lore we didn't need.
I don't know where clowns come from.
Hi.
I found out where clowns come from.
We did find out where clowns come from.
The secret circus.
Oh my god.
It's a secret.
Oh my god.
The secret circus. They make each other laugh so hard that all the air makes the tent fly, and then just a baby happens.
A baby clown would come floating down.
I love that the moon is like, what the
Join
fuck?
the family of clowns.
I'm the literal moon and I've never seen this shit.
Before
How the fuck are we gonna explain this one?
Mm-hmm. Often the way Amazon presented the show left something to be desired.
Ew. Stale donuts.
Stale. Not still. Sorry, captions.
You know,
Ew. Still
feeling a
don't
little
Still
stale
donuts.
myself.
The subtitles were so bad. That's like the number one about this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Major Bedhead.
Fathead!
Matter.
The captions are so bad. 0 out of 10 do not recommend the subtitles for, like, most of the show, frankly, but especially this episode. The Big Comfy Couch reminded us of some important lessons.
Made it clear it's important if you need to have, some time to yourself, go ahead and have time to yourself, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good lesson for kids.
When you're a kid, you want to be dizzy. When you're an adult, you still want to be dizzy, but instead of spinning around, you just drink alcohol.
Yeah, you have to pay for it.
This one was like specifically about being rude, and like their definition of being rude was just more or less toilet humor.
Yeah.
It's okay to do this when like you're not in a school setting or you're not like in a more serious setting. If you're just with your friends and there's like maybe no adults around, like go nuts.
Mhm.
But it's time to get serious, then it's time to put all that away. It has been proven that if you don't have the words to explain what's upsetting you, it just upsets you infinitely more, which I think is why I really didn't have a lot of teen angst, because I was writing starting in middle school. So I was reading and writing a whole heck of a lot, and I just had the words to explain how I was feeling.
Like, me as a teenager, I was an asshole, but it wasn't, like, rebellious.
Right.
I saved all that till now.
Yeah, it's time now that I can pay for it myself.
They kept emphasizing good food. So, like, if you are feeling super hungry, you definitely want to go for the more nutritious foods rather than, your donuts.
rather than Arby's.
Yeah.
Whatever you're gonna be when you grow up, be yourself. Because Nickel Fritz was laughing at how Major Bedhead was dancing, and Granny immediately turns on him and is like, no, you don't laugh at people for how they express themselves.
I feel like the lesson is like you don't have to necessarily be good at something in order to like do it and have fun. But sometimes the show's lessons didn't quite stick the landing. And it was about, what was it about? It was an episode. It was another episode of the Big Comfy Couch.
Don't look at me. I wasn't paying attention half the time.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot going on this one.
No, but that's okay. That's okay. We
Sometimes you have those.
Sometimes you have those, and now it's off our list, and we can move on. Sneezing.
I don't think there was any wash your hands, sneeze
No.
away from people. No, she sneezed directly at people anytime she could.
Whole episode about sneezing, not a single sneeze into your arm.
No PSA.
Season 3, episode 12, which was about hiccups and fucking why. Why does every kid's show have to have a hiccups episode? It checked all the boxes that a hiccup episode does. Somebody gets the hiccups, they don't know how to get rid of them, so they ask around and see if anyone else knows how, so they go through this whole thing where you scare them out, and you laugh them out, and then you do some like ridiculous thing that obviously doesn't work.
That is the biggest lesson that hiccups teach, is that sometimes things are just bullshit.
Because what you want to be is intrinsically linked to how you want to work.
How do you want to make money?
How you want to make someone else rich.
It got really philosophical on this one.
Oh yeah, we paused a couple times to talk about the ethics of lying. For kids, telling them that there's nuance to it is like a recipe for disaster.
In a lot of the cases where lying serves a good purpose is when someone is putting you in a dangerous situation, is usually a notable one where lying is your way out of that.
It's weird when you have like gay coded characters in kids' things that are like very like stereotype coded and less like, oh, this character is gay and that's a thing about them. It's like they have to be like,
this is your gay barber.
You know.
Yikes in itself, and then like the backdrop of it was all Windows Media Player.
It's straight up, it's just the Windows Media Player visualization in the background. The story of this episode is Lunette is looking at what names mean in like a baby names book. The name Lunette isn't there, so she assumes that must mean her name means nothing. So she finds a name that she likes that means sparkling and bubbly, and the name is Sarsaparilla. And she gets a new outfit and makes a couple little lifestyle changes and decides to just like go by this new name for a while. Basically, like Granny and Major Bedhead are like, no,
not super supportive.
No, I get it because she's kind of like forcing it, but at the same time, as someone who has gone through a similar experience, hearing things like, "You'll always be Lunette to me," and like, "You're fine just the way you are," like those are things that like my parents said to me.
Yeah, it seems like they were gearing towards, you don't need to be like everyone else, you can just be like you. That's nothing, because what is you?
Mm-hmm.
And like, how do you figure that out if not by trying new things?
Right.
And if you constantly have people going like, no, this new thing is different, I don't like it, don't do that, like, well, what are you stuck with then?
Yeah, and they could have had that same sort of like core message about it that establishes that like that new experience, while temporary, wasn't a waste of time, and that like something valuable was taken from it. There's no like self-discovery there, there's no acknowledgement of like, but I do like these clothes.
Because every time you go, like, it's just a phase, you'll grow out of this. Like, yeah, maybe, but, like, what am I going to learn from this? That's so important for people in general to do. And I think kids should be told that so much more often than just, hey, be yourself. Because I don't know what the fuck that is. When I was growing up, like, I always felt like if I was going to get into something, then that had to be the thing I was into. So if I was going to do softball, then I had to be, like, into softball forever. And then when I tried to quit band, I was cajoled into continuing it, because then people are like, well, what? I thought you were doing this now. Like, why are you not doing? Oh, well, okay. What are we doing now? It's like, Relax, dog. I'm just figuring it out.
You, at a very young age, you have to make all of these like critical decisions that will stick with you, even though you're still like getting your shit together and like finding out like who you are. I have changed so much more drastically between the end of high school and now. The idea of like picturing this alternate universe where I went to college terrifies me because like I would have been working on a set of assumptions that I had then that I don't have now.
This whole episode very much rang as like traditional values, and things will always go back to being the way they are because the way they are is better.
Yeah.
Than however we might change it.
And the phrase that they lingered on was "out with the new, in with the old," and I was like, oh.
Like, why would you say that? That's not the phrase.
No.
For a reason.
We loved looking at the Big Comfy Couch as a production. I really enjoy the inventiveness of a lot of the puppets on this show. The spider that they used in the spider story was really great because you could tell she was probably wearing a green screen suit and had like the puppet in front of it. We did after a certain threshold start seeing Auntie Macassar in person more, and a byproduct for that was we ended up seeing more like live action stuff from her through the mail.
And more singing too from her, which is always a gold
Always
star.
welcome. Always welcome.
I really feel like whoever was behind the budget on this show, like, very carefully decided where the money was gonna go.
Yeah, and I like that they're like that they've managed to maintain like the really simplistic nature of the show. So like even though it's clear that like they've gotten a little bit of a boost, they're not like trying to make it this like big showy thing that it never was meant to be. But we also loved seeing into the heart of this show's world. This show doesn't really think of things in terms of premieres and finales. I think it's just kind of like each episode is just its own thing, and there's just
very self-contained. Yeah.
It's not like the show ever really like needs to get deep, but I always like want it to. I always want him to just like try.
Snickle Fritz is just the star of it for us. He's the only one that's like, I'm in a show about clowns and I don't care.
It's true.
This episode kind of put front and center for me. I really enjoy Lunette and Major Bedhead's friendship because he's so excited with her when she gets a package.
Yeah.
And like plays around with her with whatever she got, and then they all like, and she lost Molly and all the packaging this time, and he's like, no, we're gonna find her and it's gonna be great, and he like talks to Molly like she's a person too.
Yeah.
The majority of the show feels very targeted towards the audience, but like the moments when like Lunette was talking with the others about how much she missed Auntie Macassar, and then like her interaction with her aunt, that all felt very like contained. Like that was that thing. That was for Lunette.
They're like peers for children. Lunette's confiding in you like, I don't know what to do. And and you know, they're saying hi to you, and they're saying like that, you know, that they're glad you're here.
Being on your level and talking to you instead of being above you and talking to you, or on your level and you're just witnessing. You
get something that's like pretty close to a pseudo friendship without it being like actually toxically parasocial. Lunette is the connective tissue that holds the rest of the show together.
Yes. She's the glue net.
You always know that no matter what, no matter how bad things may get in your house or in your friends' lives or whatever, you can always sit down to the big comfy couch and it will never be dramatic. It will never be, you know, a change up of anything. It's definitely constructed itself as a very like consistent, safe place.
Hi, is this Ellie Spectrometer? Spectacular. Hello again, ma'am. I looked through our records, and it appears we haven't repossessed any couches recently.
Well, there must have been some mistake, because when I tried to sit down on my couch, I fell on my ass in the dark, and this clown repo business card was the only thing left in its place.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that last part?
There was only a business card.
Before that.
I fell on my ass in the dark.
Was there a cream-topped pastry or windy blaster present to break your fall?
What? No.
Would you say it was hilarious when you fell?
No, it absolutely was not hilarious. It hurt. A lot.
I understand. That changes things.
What?
We'll get you sorted out, ma'am. I'm gonna escalate your customer service ticket to the ringmaster, so you should expect a call from us soon.
Now hold on. I want to talk more specifically about what it was for us.
the consistency of sitting down to watch a thing that may or may not even be that good, but just to do it on a regular basis with another person and just have that continuing to go, like, that's not really something I do or have done since like high school.
I'm very like happy to have watched it with you and to have like made that a regular thing. It started as like a sort of tongue-in-cheek thing, like, what if we just like watched all of this kids show?
But what if though?
Even though we started really ambitiously with like, yeah, we'll do like 3 or 4 hours each time, and then after a while, it got cut down and down and down until eventually we were like, let's just do like 1 hour at a time.
Yeah.
I think if you had asked me like when we started making those changes, I would have said like that I was bummed about it, and that I would have. Oh, there goes my nose. I'm just gonna leave it off. I'm glad that we decided to take our time with it because of the pandemic situation. It would have been like we would have reached this point sooner, and at time of recording, we're not out of it yet.
Like we didn't really have a reason to do it remotely before that. That kind of solidified okay, no matter what else happens, I still have this built-in like social time that's gonna go on, and we can still absolutely effectively get it done the same way we could if we were in a room together. It, I think, contributed a lot to me not absolutely going bonkers and feeling really sucky about not being able to see people. You and I were not like super close friends before this. Just having us do this thing regularly and just kind of being able to grow a friendship in a time when all of my other friendships are stagnating was very nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Crying, Ellie. Aww.
When the quarantine started, the part of me that enjoys not having to commit to things was like, great, cool, I have an excuse to stay home.
Same.
And as it went on, it got harder and harder. I really miss a lot of my friends right now. It's not like I can't talk to them on the phone or anything, but it's August.
Yeah.
We've been in this since March, and it's only now getting to the point where I'm like, I want to see my friends so bad. I'm so glad I got to watch this stupid show with you. Because that's the closest thing I've had to just like sharing something with my friends. It's strange because like I also started dating someone around the same time. So like I've been able to hang out with her, and that's been absolutely great, and she's wonderful. But you know, like it's not the same. It's not the same hanging out with someone that you're like in a relationship with versus just hanging out with someone just to hang out. Look at me being a sad clown.
Oh, it's okay. People like sad clowns.
There's an element of like comfort that comes from watching the show specifically, you know, during this time, because like we like, you know, even if an episode was like a total flop, even if we had like 2 like really shitty episodes back to back, like we could laugh about it and just be like, wow, this episode was shit. And it not like ruin the experience of the rest of it or anything. You know?
This isn't like going through a episodic saga where we can, judge how the female characters are treated and if there was a bury you gays go on or whatever, because that stuff sucks. Like when you watch that, it sucks.
I'm not going to over embellish the truth. My childhood was pretty good, but there were some rough moments, and you know, like especially when traveling and seeing family, that's just like it's a lot. As a kid, I distinctly remember watching episodes of this show like at my grandma's place when I was little, even though it wasn't like my favorite show in the whole world or anything like that, just knowing like this is familiar, this is a place that I can be for a minute. I think as adults we sort of learn to compartmentalize our use of escapism, so we're like very aware of when we're doing it and why we're doing it. So when we watch the episodes together, I'm not so much like, now I'm in the world of the big comfy couch and like taking it all in and like, you know, pretending that like I'm a peer here. You know, I'm still just looking at it from a production side and like laughing at the dialogue and stuff. But that in itself, just being able to like turn on that mindset is itself a form of escapism. The rest of the day, I don't have these things to look at. I don't have these things to ponder about. I can think about what I want to do with my own show, but I don't have like an example in front of my face that's like really feeding all of these ideas and getting the wheels turning and all that.
I like my job and I like where I work, but there are days when it's super stressful and I'm very cranky when I get home. The night Brandon proposed to me, I was cranky as fuck at work when he would come up and be like, hey, do you need anything? I can go home and start dinner. And I'm like, either you go home or you help me. I don't care what you do right now. I don't even think I talked to him much after I got home. I just wanted to be alone and not talk. And so I got some food and I sat down at my desk and then I explained my day to you and we talked about it a little bit. And then we get into 2 episodes of some dumb tomfoolery. And by the end of it, as always happens, I'm feeling very good. And you always ask me at the end of every episode, hey, how you feeling? And my answer is always, I'm feeling really good. Because I got to talk to a friend and we got to watch a dumb thing and we had a good time together for an hour and it was really nice. And I don't know what the rest of that night would have been. Like, I'm sure it still would have been great. Because, yeah, he asked me to marry him. But I don't know how the rest of that night would have been if I did not have this time to just decompress and unwind and escape a little bit for a while and just have something else going on. It is so interesting that like you chose to do this project and you wanted to see like what we could get out of it, and suddenly like the circumstances changed so that we got like the most that we could out of this. Right. Like, this became way more important than I think it was supposed to be. I'm so glad you asked me. I was really glad. And I don't know. I think the way you presented it, too, was like, this is not going to be the best thing ever. We're going to watch 100 episodes of a kid's show, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm like, yes, this is exactly the sort of scrutiny I'm here for. I remember I got off the phone with you and I went to Brandon and I was like, so we're going to do this thing now. And I'm really excited.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Justine, so much for just like spending the time. That's what means the most to me. From a media critique perspective, I don't have much to say about The Big Comfy Couch. It does its job. It's wholesome and sweet, if a little off the mark at times. The puppetry is expertly done and the performers are top-notch across the whole cast. It has some genuinely funny moments, but most of the time they play it safe. Amazon's hosting of the show leaves a lot to be desired. The captions are garbage, and the titles and descriptions don't always match up properly. The quality of the show as it is doesn't mean much to me. But what does mean everything is that I got it back. The Big Comfy Couch is no longer a piece of nostalgia I can barely hold on to. It's a one-of-a-kind experience that I got to share with a friend, one who I'm much closer to because we chose to spend that time. And maybe the circumstances weren't ideal, but to tell you the truth, that's okay. That's part of why it mattered so much. The dread of working 56-hour weeks during a pandemic, the chaos of life changing around us, the longing for human connection, the fun and humor of watching a kid's show as an adult, the speculation of what's going to happen next, the joy of Clowntown, and Justine, the friend I had the privilege to share it all with. Everything came together to make the experience of watching this exact show at this exact time something uniquely beautiful. The Big Comfy Couch acted as just that, just like a couch, something big and comfy, a welcoming place to unwind, a warm embrace in a cold and different world, something that's built not just for one, but to be enjoyed with company, something that you can go to in your own home after a long day. This recliner that I'm filming in is kind of like a couch, but it's lonely. It's isolated. I miss my couch. Hello?
Hi, may I speak to Miss Spectacular?
Speaking.
I'm very sorry about the misunderstanding, ma'am. Our team has gone ahead and reinstalled your sectional sofa at your new address. If you have any issues with the installation or you need anything repossessed as a convenient plot device for a video essay, you know where to reach us. Have a clowntastic day.
In summer sun breeds birds and bees to fill our world with blue skies, sunlight shining through skies forever. True skies hold autumn on the rise.
It can wait.
In the still of the winter, the yellows start taking its leave. For the will of the season is calling the night to run deep. Rest your head with your eyes open wide and wait for light on the longest night.